An interesting announcement this morning out from CleanTech Lithium. The company has produced lithium carbonate at a very high percentage from a plant in Chicago that it's using. Steve Kesler joins us to tell us more. Steve, what's today's announcement all about?
Hi, Alistair. Well, it's really to tell the market how we've gone from taking the brine out of the aquifer in Chile. We've processed it through our DLE plant in Chile to make a high-grade concentrated eluate. We've informed the market of that. We've been working with our partners, Conductive Energy, in Chicago, who've got the downstream processing plant, and they've been processing our material. We had an announcement the previous month that we made 50 kilos of lithium carbonate, and we've now had that material analyzed as very high grade, 99.78% pure lithium carbonate. So this is the confirmation that lots of people have been asking for. Does DLE work to produce lithium carbonate battery grade from material in the aquifers that we have at Laguna Verde? And clearly what we've shown is that this is high grade. When we compare it to battery grade, there's no real world standard for battery grade. It's commonly considered 99.5% lithium carbonate. China has a national standard that we're comparing to in this RNS of 99.6%. So we've exceeded that. But the requirement for battery grade is also on the various impurity levels in different elements: calcium, magnesium, boron, and other things. And what we're showing in this RNS is a very detailed analysis of the impurity levels in our lithium carbonate, that we understand how the process works. We've made the first high-grade material, and we're then going to undertake a few minor modifications of the downstream processing plant with Conductive to make sure that we can be considered battery grade and meet all the impurity specifications of the Chinese standard. And that is a very, very high purification standard that we apply. So I think this is the confirmation that we've made high quality lithium carbonate. The next few months, we're going to be processing to demonstrate we can meet all the impurity levels and can truly say we meet Chinese battery grade standards, and then to produce much larger quantities that we can introduce to potential strategic partners and off-takers. So this is the next stage. Having demonstrated DLE, we've now demonstrated we can make high-grade lithium carbonate. And now the next stage is larger quantities of really battery-grade material as defined by Chinese standards.
So will these larger quantities be made in Chicago too by your same partners?
Yeah, it'll be made by Conductive Energy, yes. We aim to run the pilot plant that we have in Copiapó to make as much concentrated eluate that we need to then process with Conductive Energy through their process plant, which is in Chicago.
So when you say that you're going to be producing more lithium carbonate, are we talking about significant quantities here, or is it still sort of fairly small scale sort of test levels?
Oh, it will step up. We produce 50 kilos of lithium carbonate, 8 kilos, as we said in the RNS, of very high grade lithium carbonate. We have the capacity of our pilot plant to produce up to a ton a month. And we're going to be producing as and when the strategic partners and off-takers want material. Because, as I said, there's no one standard for lithium carbonate. Every battery manufacturer wants to test the material to see that it works and the impurity profiles work in its particular cathode and battery process. So we have Samples start off with a few kilos. They will go to suppliers. They'll check the chemical profile. Then they will want to have tens of kilos. And when they want to do work in their test cells, they'll want hundreds of kilos of sample. And we aim to be working with a number of different potential off-takers. So we will eventually be producing no, tons of material a month. And sorry, tons of material of which our capacity is up to 1 ton a month.
So, I mean, it's an interesting situation you're in now in terms of the ability to produce brine out of Laguna Verde all the way to lithium carbonate from start to finish. You must be feeling quite satisfied that you've proved this process from end to end now, and that's a real tick in the box.
Yeah, no. Having proven that, the next stage is to demonstrate we can make much more material. We're working with our engineering consultants on the PFS, on the design of the full-scale plant, and having produced smaller quantities at the tens of kilos, it'll be going up to the hundreds of kilos of material. It gives confidence to the engineers that we're getting the right information going into the engineering design so that we can scale up for the full-scale plant.
I mean, you mentioned the PFS then. What sort of insight or tentative conclusion can we draw from today's announcement about the potential economic viability of Laguna Verde?
Well, we've demonstrated the technical viability. We put out in the scoping study, last year, the economic results, which showed it is very robust, with the operating costs at the low end of the cost curve, about $4,000 a ton. We're working in the PFS as we speak. We've just about finished the engineering work, working on the capex and opex. Obviously, there's been a lot of inflation since beginning of 2023 when we did the scoping study. So we'll have an update of the capex and opex. I think the overall market has been pretty depressed in the last year. Now we've seen lithium prices at about $10,000 a ton. We've talked in many of these interviews that is not sustainable. That at those prices, there's analysts showing that half of production in the world is operating at a loss. Now that cannot continue. So we have a year or two of potential oversupply. Then the market will equilibrate, and when projects want to get up into construction and want bank finance for those projects, there's the expectation they'll only get financed if the lithium price is higher. So we're looking at an incentive price somewhere $20,000 a ton north of that, and we're absolutely confident that the Laguna Verde project at those prices will be very, very attractive economically. Now, even at today's very low price, we still see the project as being economically viable.
And so, talking about the PFS, what's the latest on the timing for that?
Well, we've announced to the market our expectation would be the end of first quarter, end of March. Clearly that's dependent on getting all the information that we require, from our Chinese consultants on technology and all the updates on capex and opex. We're working with Montgomery and Associates on the hydrogeology and the wellfield design. That all needs to go in. Then we need to cost all the infrastructure, and it gradually all comes together. But at the moment, that's the latest date, which I have is end of Q1.
So would it be right to say that you anticipate going into a full feasibility sort of later this year?
Yes, yeah. Our aim has always been to do a number of things. Demonstrate the technical viability of the use of DLE and make large quantities of battery-grade material to provide off-takers and strategic partners. is to demonstrate the economic viability on completion of a very robust PFS. And three, the absolutely essential thing is to have the special lithium operating contract, the SAOL, awarded to the company by the government, and that's what we're still working on. I think we've announced in the past that the submission of the SAOL will happen this month. Submission date is the end of January, and clearly we'll try and submit before that.
And you're very plugged into the local community down there, aren't you? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the local community has been very supportive, of the project. They clearly see that the government wants to increase lithium production in Chile, and they see that rather than the conventional evaporation ponds, which are impacting aquifer water levels, doing it the CleanTech lithium way, using direct lithium extraction with reinjection, particularly coupled with renewable energy, is the sustainable way to produce lithium. So they've been very supportive of that. As I say, when we have had discussions with government leading up to the submission of the SAOL, the community has been very vociferous in talking with government and saying, look, no, this is the way to go forward with lithium production in Chile. So we expect, as we get further into the SAOL process, that the communities will work side by side with us to demonstrate to the government that the communities support CTL, which is very important to do, because the government is not going to be awarding operating contracts unless you can demonstrate you have community support. So here we work hand in hand with the community.
Very good. So 2025 has started out pretty well for you guys. I hope it continues in positive vein. Thanks for joining us to talk us through the latest developments, Steve Kesler.
That's a pleasure, Alistair, anytime.